Alright, I've been thinking about this one for a long time. Out of all the what-if scenarios in Naruto, this one hits different. Because Itachi Uchiha, he's not just another fallen genius, he's a core fracture point in the shinobi world. What if he never went rogue? What if the Uchiha massacre never happened? What if Sasuke never walked that lonely path of revenge? I'm going to walk you through my version of this alternate reality, one where the tragedy never unfolds, and everything, and I mean everything, changes. Trust me, it's wild. Let's dive into the fate of the shinobi world if Itachi stayed loyal, not in secret, but in the open. I picture Itachi, torn, cornered, but also calculating. In this timeline, instead of silently accepting the elders' orders, he calls them out. He goes to the third Hokage, to Fugaku, even to Shisui, and together, they find a way. The Uchiha coup plot doesn't vanish overnight, but negotiations happen. Shisui still uses his Mangekyo, but instead of wasting it on Danzo, he uses it strategically, to cool tensions, to shift perspectives. Danzo still tries to interfere, of course he does, but he's exposed. Hiruzen finally steps in, this time with action instead of passive words. Danzo gets shut down. The coup never happens. The Uchiha, they stay part of the village. The massacre never takes place. And just like that, the butterfly flaps its wings. Now let's talk about Sasuke, because this is where the emotional weight really shifts. In canon, he's broken by what Itachi did. But in this version, Sasuke thrives. He grows up with both his parents and his brother alive. Still competitive, still proud, but not vengeful. I always imagined a version of Sasuke that doesn't rely on trauma for power. Instead, he trains directly under Itachi. Imagine how insane that duo would be. Lightning-fast combos, tactical genius, Sharingan mastery. He still joins Team 7, but this time as someone who trusts, not isolates, his teammates. The rivalry with Naruto becomes more balanced, more I'll surpass you, then I'll destroy everything you love. You get a Sasuke that could still become a Hokage candidate, without ever leaving the village. Now let's shift gears to the Akatsuki. Without Itachi as a member, things start to fall apart. First off, Itachi was a huge get for them. His presence gave the Akatsuki legitimacy, fear factor, and a massive Sharingan advantage. Take that away, you're down one of the most strategic members in history. Also, Kisame likely never joins, or at least not the same way. Remember, he joined because he believed in Itachi's ideals. Without that philosophical bond, Kisame's path splinters. And Deidara? His entire motivation stemmed from his loss to Itachi. That loss never happens, so maybe he never joins, or he joins but with less venom. I'm picturing a smaller, more disorganized Akatsuki. Nagato still pulls strings, and Konan's by his side, but without that internal stability, they don't dominate like they did. Maybe they're just another rogue threat. Dangerous, yes, but not end-of-the-world dangerous. Let's zoom in on Konoha. With Itachi still loyal, his talents don't get buried in espionage, they get unleashed. He becomes the youngest Anbu commander in Konoha history. His reputation, untouchable. And thanks to his mediation between the Uchiha and the village, he's now seen as a unifier, not a traitor. The Uchiha police force is restructured. No more surveillance compound exile. They're integrated back into Konoha's heartbeat. This prevents other fractures too. Villagers start seeing the Uchiha not as time bombs, but as heroes. And Naruto? He grows up in a Konoha with less paranoia, more unity. Also, I imagine Jiraiya doesn't investigate the Akatsuki alone. He takes Itachi, two of the smartest ninjas in one mission. They discover Pain's secret early, and this time, Jiraiya survives. That alone changes Naruto's emotional arc massively. Here's the big one, the Fourth Great Ninja War. Without the massacre, Sasuke isn't a rogue element. Obito doesn't get to use him as a pawn, and since Itachi's not reanimated by Edo Tensei, he's already alive and actively hunting the truth. He and Kakashi dig into the Uchiha tablet together. They piece together Kaguya's history, Zetsu's manipulations, and Tobi's real identity years before canon. They present their findings to the 5 Kage summit. The result? The Shinobi Alliance is formed preemptively. They're ready this time. The war still happens. Let's be real, Madara's ego isn't just gonna chill, but it's a very different war. Konoha leads a proactive strike. There's no infinite Tsukuyomi, no 10 tails unsealed, and get this, Naruto, Sasuke, and Itachi fight side by side, 3 gods on the battlefield. So what comes after? Honestly, this is where it gets emotional for me. The Uchiha live, they evolve. Fugaku becomes an elder, Itachi becomes Hokage material, and Sasuke, he's free. Free to chase strength, not revenge. Free to love, maybe even start a family earlier. Naruto, meanwhile, still saves the world, but without losing so many along the way. Jiraiya's still alive. Neiji's still alive. The world still gets peace, but this time it's earned through wisdom, not sacrifice. Even Boruto's generation? They grow up with legends walking beside them, not just stories of pain. The past no longer chains the future. And you know what? That's the shinobi world I wish we had seen. So that's it. That's the alternate path. One decision, one man choosing diplomacy over silence, and suddenly, the entire shinobi world is rewritten. I honestly think this version makes everyone better, stronger, more whole. But hey, maybe that's the tragedy of Itachi. He did choose the shadows, so no one else had to. If this twist on the shinobi world got you thinking, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, how do you think the story would have changed if Sasuke never sought revenge? I'm the brief chapter, and this was the fate of the shinobi world. What if Itachi never went rogue? See you in the next timeline.